Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about why so many Americans, US men's national team players, are heading to Germany to the Bundesliga. Why has that trend happened the past few years? It actually has happened many years ago, and I brought a very special guest here, Thiago, the owner and the face of Footy.base account on Instagram. I'm putting his link on the description for the YouTube channel and his Instagram account, which is huge, a great account. Don't miss out, go follow him on Instagram. Also, don't forget this thing. Thiago is German, so we're going to get a German perspective on this. And at the very end of the video, I asked him to give his prediction for the US men's national team in the 2026 World Cup. So that'll be lots of fun. Stay tuned. Let's get started with the episode. Hey everyone, welcome. Today we're going to talk about US men's national team once again because that's what you all love so much. And as I introduced already, we have a very special guest here, Thiago. He's from Germany, so that's a big thing for this topic since we're talking about US men's national team players moving to Germany. Thiago, welcome to the channel.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. Cool.
And guys, I put his Instagram once again here on screen, so go follow it. It's an amazing account, by the way. So let's get started with this. Let's get right to it, and I want you to talk about it first. There's been a lot of Americans moving to the Bundesliga actually throughout the years, but it got more popular more recently, I think because of Christian Pulisic a little bit. And now you got Gio Reyna, Weston Mckennie, a bunch of other players, Tyler Adams. Let's talk about a couple reasons. And you'll say one, I'll say one, we'll talk about it. What would be your first reason? Why do you think that's happening?
Yeah, you already named it pretty well. I think that it has always been a thing for Americans to play in the Bundesliga, but Christian Pulisic kind of accelerated this process when he moved to Dortmund in 2015, 2016, I think, something like that. I think generally it is always easier for Americans to settle in Germany itself than it is in probably Spain, Italy, because you would think there is a barrier in terms of language, but actually there's not. I can tell you that most Germans have a pretty good English knowledge, actually. We learned it in school from the first year.
Like you.
Sorry?
Like you.
Well, I don't know. I'm okay, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Germany itself is a very Americanized country, I would say. Also caused by history, you know, like ever since the end of World War II, basically, a lot of American soldiers have been in Germany. And I think we have like 120,000 American citizens living in Germany, of which are 50,000 soldiers or something. And of course, these soldiers also bring their family to Germany. Like, do you know about John Anthony Brooks from Wolfsburg?
The center back for the US men's national. He was born in Germany.
He was born in Berlin. Timothy Chandler, maybe you know him too. He was born in Frankfurt. And Jermaine Jones. All of these three are actually sons of US Army soldiers and of German mothers. So that's just examples why Americans have always been in the Bundesliga. But you said it, Christian Pulisic kind of became the idol for Americans to play in the Bundesliga and also promoted the league. And yeah, after then, a lot of Americans have followed. Weston Mckennie, we have Gio Reyna, we have
Tyler Adams.
Sargent. Yeah. There is Tyler Adams, who came from New York Red Bulls to Leipzig.
Chris Richards, Josh Sargent. There's so many.
Exactly.
You want to know a fun fact real quick before I move on to one of my reasons? The Dutch league actually has more young Americans than the Bundesliga.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they do. But the thing is, the Bundesliga is stronger, more visibility too. And the Americans, they're a little better, but there's a lot of Americans at the Dutch league. Okay, well, the best came out of there.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, Dutch people actually have one of the best English knowledges in the world, I think. So,
and Thiago, one of the reasons I have, it goes a little bit with what you just said. One is the language. So the language barrier, since in Germany the population speaks English, that solves a huge issue, which is language. But you would think that England would be a better option because the main language is English. But England, what people don't talk about is they have a lot of work permit issues for players.
Exactly.
And if you play Football Manager, you follow it, it's very hard for you to sign certain players if you can't prove their talent. There's a lot of weird requirements. So because it's so hard to get the work permit, the plan B becomes Germany. Like you said, it's hard for Americans to adjust maybe to Italy, Spain, where not many people will speak English, different culture. And you even said it yourself, a lot of the German culture does have a lot of an American influence. So it becomes bigger. And at the same time, Americans are very, I was going to talk about this, the mentality of American players, the way I see it, German football or soccer for the American viewers, and this German soccer has always been very tactically disciplined players. That's like they do have talented players. They've had always, but Germans are very tactically disciplined, and that's something Americans copy a lot from Germany when it comes to soccer. So I think that also plays a role on the scouting report part of the game. But these are the two reasons I wanted to talk about. I do have more reasons, but I want to go to your next reason if you have anything else.
First of all, I want to say that I fully agree with you on the tactical aspect of the game. I do think that, I'm not sure if you could say this, but I would consider the MLS pretty much the small Bundesliga, because the playing style of the two leagues are very, very similar, as you said. Both focus on quick attacking football, tactical discipline, and also physical ability. That's three aspects that both leagues, I think, focus on. And therefore, it is, from a tactical point of view, the logical next step to move from the MLS to the Bundesliga to play on the next higher stage without completely having to change your playing style. So that is another good reason, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and also it matches. That goes into the aspect of scouting report, because obviously if Americans all were terrible, the German teams wouldn't sign them. They're just like, it doesn't matter if the culture, it doesn't matter the work permit, it doesn't matter. If they're not good, I'm not going to sign them. So another thing I wanted to point out, I want to see if you agree with this too, is a little bit of a German clubs having vision and marketing. And the reason I say that is this. We know America, the United States, is the richest country in the world, so there's a lot of money to be made here. And soccer, football here is very raw still. It's getting popular. It's growing every single year. So maybe German teams had a vision of like, wait a second, we had Pulisic here. That sold a lot of jerseys in America. It got Dortmund popular in America. Why don't we try with a couple guys like Reyna now, Chris Richards, Weston Mckennie? Like, why don't we bring these Americans so we can enter that market before Real Madrid, Manchester United, those teams? So I think despite these the players we mentioned are all very good. So it's not all marketing. There's talent there. Pulisic starts for Chelsea. But I think there's a little bit of Germans having this vision. They're like, we can enter this market before the other big boys enter. And by then, we're going to be strong. We're going to put the Bundesliga on American TVs. We're going to make a lot of money off of this, because Germans are very smart in the business aspect of the game. I'm going to get to that too. They're very smart when it comes to money. Like Bayern Munich is brilliant when it comes to money spending. So do you think that could play a role too?
I think marketing definitely plays a big role here. As you said, of course, these players are quality, and Bundesliga clubs don't only sign them for marketing. That would be stupid. But marketing plays a big role here, especially since you said that US soccer is still a very, very raw market, but it is an emerging market, and I think the hype is growing, as you said. And Bundesliga is on a global field. The Bundesliga is behind Premier League, behind La Liga. And in the United States, I think they want to be the front runners in the market. Obviously, the Premier League is probably bigger than the Bundesliga also in the US, but they want to get a very big proportion of that market. And I think it's also clever. Bayern Munich opened an office in New York, and I think also the Bundesliga itself opened a US office a few years ago. So marketing is definitely a big thing there. As you said, Dortmund is probably one of the most supported Bundesliga clubs in the US, possibly even more than Bayern. I'm not sure, because of Pulisic. It had a huge impact. Jersey sales, the TV rights. So there's a lot of money to be made.
Yeah, I think I don't know if Dortmund's the most popular one now, because just Bayern is just a force to be reckoned with, just wins everything. But during the Pulisic time, for sure, those were the highest selling jerseys, because Pulisic is just a big name here. And then I was going to touch on I kind of talked about this already. I was going to talk about how German teams do good business. So, for example, Bayern Munich, they signed Robert Lewandowski for free. Like, no one would have expected that. How do you sign debatably the best center forward in the world, or if not the best, top 3 easily, for free? And they do it. And they do it from time to time. They sign players for very cheap. Not just Bayern, a lot of the teams. I do think Dortmund sometimes overpays for a few players, but they also sign some players for super cheap and sell it for twice. And the thing is, the MLS, I need to look into this a little more, but the MLS had these things that you couldn't really sign player compensations and all that before they were professional. So German teams took advantage of that. They got Christian Pulisic for free. They got Giovanni Reyna for free. I think Weston Mckennie was free also. I think the only player recently they paid for was Chris Richards, and it was like 1 million. It was a bargain. So I think the good business, because you go to Real Madrid, they go to Brazil, and they're like, oh, that guy might be a new Neymar, 60 million. Manchester United goes there and just like 50 million. But Bayern, Dortmund, and German teams always try to find the next big thing cheap. And the MLS, with their flaws, allowed that to happen. So they were able to get Pulisic for free, Gio Reyna for free, Weston Mckennie for free. I don't know about Tyler Adams. I think he was already in Europe. No, I think he paid
was like 10 million or something like that. So
they paid something, yeah. But then you go to like Chris Richards, they paid 1 million. Let's say he doesn't turn out to be something amazing. 1 million is not going to affect Bayern. It's worth the risk.
Yeah.
So
that's a big advantage. I agree there.
So I think it's also something that Germans just have. They like doing good business, and they found an opportunity there. It's like, hey, we can get these players. They have some potential, and it's free or like 1 million rather than going and buying a Brazilian for 20, 30, 40 million. So I think that's one of the things that could have played a role too. Would you agree with that?
Definitely, yeah. There are two options. Either the player fails and then you wasted 500k, 1 million. It's not going to be a big blow for the team, or the player goes massive like Christian Pulisic, like Weston Mckennie. Well, he was sold for like I don't know, 20. I don't know.
He's loaned, but it's a 20 million buyout,
something like that. So there are these examples of players who went really well, who became almost world class, and Pulisic was sold for 64 million, I think, signed for free.
73.
$70, I think. Yeah, I always.
Oh yeah, dollars. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you see these examples, obviously a lot of German clubs want to get into this US market as well, and we have Werder Bremen with Josh Sargent. We have Leipzig, who signed Tyler Adams. A lot of them. I actually looked it up. I think 7 out of the 7 most valuable players in the US national team right now, 6 of them have played in the Bundesliga. I think the only one who hasn't is Serginho Dest. Yeah. Other than that, all of them have played in the Bundesliga. So
Dest almost went to the Bundesliga.
Yeah, almost went to Bayern, but he chose Barca.
Well, I think this concludes our talk about U.S. men's national team, why players arrived there. I think we got into agreement. Well, we agreed on everything. So pretty much the work permit situation in England and Germany being the second country that Americans can adapt. Marketing, obviously some talent, and Germans doing good business and exploiting the MLS in the sense of being able to get players for cheap. I think those are the main reasons. And also we talked about how Americans' tactical approach is very similar to the German tactical approach. So that facilitates the scouting reports and recommendations from Bayern scout, Dortmund scouts, whatever, Schalke scouts.
Exactly, yeah.
Thiago, before we go, there's 2 things I want to ask you. One, I'm going to ask you to give me a prediction for the United States in the 2026 World Cup, how far you think they can make. But before you say that, talk about your Instagram real quickly, just so the viewers that are watching this can get to know you before they go there.
Well, those of you who don't know me, I'm Footy.base on Instagram, as you see there in the bottom. And I talk about football pretty much daily, give my analysis, my opinions on the game, real talk, stories. So if you're interested in any of that, I'm also going to make a post about this topic, I think, because I find it so interesting. Yeah, feel free to check me out, but it's no must. But thanks for having me here, Coach.
And you're also having the YouTube channel that you're slowly getting into.
That's pretty small still. I'm doing FIFA videos. I'm doing football real talk soon, something similar to you. And maybe we can do some more collaborations in the future.
For sure.
Down for that.
And guys, I will be putting on the description of the video his Instagram. Even though it's on screen right now, I'll be putting the link on the Instagram, his YouTube channel. Just keep in mind, he's much more active on Instagram right now.
Yeah.
And before we finish up, let me just put my Instagram here too. What are your thoughts on the United States in 2026 as the host with all these young talents? How far do you think it's reasonable for them to make? I know it's a silly question because you don't know the groups, you don't know the draw, but based on the talents, let's say they work out some of them, how far as the host nation do you think the United States can make it?
I think it is, as you said, a very hypothetical question, but also a very big question in the US, right? Like you are already so hyped for this World Cup. It's in 6 years. Pulisic will be 28, I think. He can be a big leader for the team already.
Gio Reyna?
Sorry?
Gio Reyna will be 24, be growing.
A lot of these 20, 18-year-olds right now will be in a very, very good football age. So I think it all depends on the groups, on the opponents. But I think realistically, with the team they might have in 6 years, I see them as a team that can comfortably go to the quarterfinals, I think. I think that's realistic. I don't want to react, but I'm gonna say quarterfinals. Let's see how it turns
Yeah,
out.
I'm torn in between two things, because the US are very famous for overachieving in the World Cup. Like, they usually make it to quarterfinals, and when you don't expect, it's like it's an average team, and they beat England or tie England at the end. They defeat teams and play big games like that. But what I think is, I think realistically, quarterfinals is a good achievement for this team to build off that and build stronger generation. It's a big country, it can grow. But I do think, depending on the draw, semifinals are very reasonable.
Okay, yeah. Also, the home support plays a big role in the World Cup.
Always. But it can also, the home support can also become pressure. That's what I'm afraid of.
Brazil 2014.
Brazil 2014, it became pressure. They like had to win. Anything besides winning was a disappointment. So it became pressure, and all that happened. The 7-1 didn't happen.
Let's not that here, okay? Yeah, it's always a difficult thing. The fans can keep you through all the rounds, but they can also put too much pressure on you and overrate your team. You know it. So, but I think that the home support will turn out good for the US team. I think fans will be very positive. I don't know how's the mindset in the country. I mean, a lot can change in 6 years.
A lot of hype. People really like to push the country.
Yeah, but I don't think fans will be too hard on them if they don't.
No,
if they don't
I think they'll be reasonable. So, guys, I put Thiago's Instagram and YouTube link on the description. Thank you very much for being here today. This was a great talk. We will do more episodes in the future. Thank you very much for watching. Thiago, you want to say bye to everyone?
Yeah, thank you guys for having me, and I would love to be on here again. See you guys.